The silence that shook the stars. The Grand Council chamber floated in the center of the Orion Spire, a massive structure built from metals mined in dying stars. It was the place where the most powerful voices in the galaxy met. Today, the chamber was filled with nervous energy. Hundreds of alien delegates had gathered, scaled beings from water worlds, feathered envoys from air kingdoms, and silicon creatures who hummed like broken glass. Every seat was full. Every voice whispered, except one row, the seats reserved for... The humans stood empty. For centuries, humans had been present at every major meeting of the council. They were late sometimes, they were chaotic often, but they always came. And when they arrived, they brought with them something that no other race had: an energy, a fire, a way of turning impossible arguments into action. But today, their chairs sat untouched. Councillor Valok of the Krathar shifted uneasily in his seat. His kind, tall, and mantis-like prided themselves on logic and order, but even he felt a chill in his bones. He leaned closer to his neighbor, a feathered Zalorian diplomat, and whispered, "Where are they?" The Zalorian ruffled her wings. Humans are never predictable, but never absent. Across the chamber, the high speaker of the council raised, his staff, its sound echoing through the air. Silence fell. "Where are the representatives of Earth?" he demanded. His voice rang out sharp as iron. No answer, only the soft hum of the chamber lights. Then, with a hiss of air, the massive doors opened. Every head turned. Delegates leaned forward, expecting the humans to stride in with their usual strange confidence. But no one came. Instead, a small machine drifted into the chamber. It was a drone, sleek and dark with no symbols except one. The insignia of humanity, a simple blue and white sphere. Earth. Gasps spread through the chamber. The drone floated to the center, projected a flickering light, and then spoke with a voice that was neither male nor female. It was calm, cold. "We are gone." Just 3 words. The chamber erupted in chaos. "What does this mean?" shouted one delegate. "They cannot abandon the council," cried another. "They must explain themselves," screamed a third. But the drone did not answer their cries. It continued steady as stone. "Humanity has departed. Do not seek us. Do not call us. The council will answer for its deeds." Then, with a soft pulse of light, the drone collapsed into dust. For a long moment there was silence. Real silence. No whispers, no arguments, no nervous coughs. Even the machines that filtered the air seemed to quiet themselves, as if the galaxy itself was holding its breath. The high speaker's staff trembled in his hands. His eyes, dark and ancient, searched the chamber. This is impossible," he muttered. "Humans cannot simply leave. They built half of our fleets. They fought the wars that saved us all." But deep inside, he knew. The humans could do anything. Councillor Valok leaned back in his chair, his compound eyes unblinking. He remembered the first time his kind had faced humans in battle. The Krathar fleets had been larger, their weapons stronger, their plans flawless. Yet the humans had won, not with power but with a kind of madness. They had changed tactics mid-battle, sacrificing ships in ways no Krathar commander would ever dare. They had turned defeat into victory. That was humanity's way. And now, that same unpredictable force had simply walked away. Whispers rose again, quieter this time. Rumors spread like fire. Did they find something beyond the edge of the stars? Are they preparing for war? Or did they finally grow tired of us? Every question carried fear, because if the humans left by choice, then it meant they had a plan. And if humans had a plan, no one could predict what it was, or survive. If it turned against them, the Zalorian diplomat, feathers shivering, spoke what many feared to say aloud. "Perhaps they did not leave us. Perhaps they left you." Her words cut through the chamber like a blade. For generations, the council had relied on humans but also distrusted them. Many races had insulted Earth, mocked its strange culture, and questioned its right to power. Now maybe humanity had answered. Not with words, not with war, but with silence. The silence shook the chamber more than any weapon could have. Far above the council chamber, in the void of space, the Earth's fleets no longer drifted. Where once there had been human colonies, beacons, and starships, there was nothing but emptiness. Systems that once pulsed with human life were dark. No signals, no voices, no trace. As the chamber dissolved into chaos once more, Veilach felt something alien to his kind, a cold fear. Humans had not vanished. They had chosen to vanish, and that choice was more terrifying than any war. Echoes of human power. The chaos inside the council chamber lasted for hours. Delegates shouted, wings flared, tails struck the floor. Yet under all the noise, a heavy truth spread like poison. Humanity was gone, and with that truth came memory. Councillor Veilach could not stop himself from remembering the war of the Trog invasion. It was a century ago, before the Krathar joined the council. Back then, the Trog had swept across half the spiral arm, burning planets to ash. The council had debated endlessly, moving fleets like pieces on a board, but always too late. Entire civilizations died while alien voices argued in safety. Then the humans had arrived. They were not the strongest. Their fleets were small, their weapons old, their tactics strange. Yet when they entered the war, everything changed. Veilach remembered watching the transmissions, his people observing the battles in disbelief. Humans did not fight like others. They sacrificed ships in ways that looked like madness, only for those sacrifices to open paths to victory. They built weapons out of scrap, powered engines with fuel no one else dared to use, and turned asteroids into bombs that cracked Trog dreadnoughts apart. No one had expected them to win, yet they had. And when the smoke cleared, it was humans who stood first among the survivors. The chamber murmured with similar memories. The Zalorian diplomat spoke, her feathers trembling. Do you remember the siege of Karath Prime? The council, fleets were broken. The Trog had sealed every escape, and it was a human freighter captain who found a way through the blockade. Not a general, not a soldier, a traitor. He used the sun's magnetic storms to blind enemy sensors, then slipped. The fleets out one by one. Several delegates nodded slowly. The story was legend now, repeated across 1,000 worlds. Humans, another voice said bitterly. Always too clever for their own good. Yet the bitterness was not anger. It was fear. Because if humans had chosen to vanish, then all that brilliance, all that unpredictability, was no longer theirs to rely on. The high speaker finally rose, slamming his staff against the floor. The chamber fell silent. His voice was low, but it carried the weight of centuries. Let us not forget, he said, that the humans were never trusted fully. They shared technology, yes, but always kept secrets. They built ships for us, yet their own fleets were faster. They gave us weapons, yet theirs burned brighter. They never showed us everything. Perhaps now we see why. His words cut into the chamber like blades. It was true. Humanity had always been generous, but also careful. They had given the council hyperdrives, but not their newest models. They had shared shield systems, but their own ships still resisted more firepower. They had even taught others medicine, yet somehow lived longer themselves. It was as if they were always holding something back, guarding knowledge no one else was ready for. Now the thought chilled every alien heart. Had humans been preparing for this day all along? A crystalline delegate from the Zerathi clinked its eye, sharp edges together nervously. If they have left, perhaps they have gone, beyond, past the rim, into the void where no council fleets travel. Veilach's mandibles clicked. If so, then they left because they found something greater than us, something we cannot imagine. The chamber grew darker with those words, for every alien present knew one thing: humans were explorers. If they had left, it was not because they were afraid. It was because they had seen a new horizon, and yet reports began to flow in from across the galaxy. Delegates carried data pads, whispering, passing screens hand to hand. One report showed the Sol system, empty. Earth's signals had gone silent. Mars was dark. The colonies near Proxima, gone. Fleets that once patrolled dozens of sectors, vanished. No wreckage, no signs of battle, nothing. They left cleanly, the Zilorian diplomat said at last. Too cleanly. No race vanishes without a trace unless it chooses to, another delegate hissed in fear. If they planned this for years, what did they leave behind? That question froze the room, because every race in the council had, at some point, wronged humanity. Some mocked them as savages when they first arrived among the stars. Some took advantage of them, trading poor goods for human resources. Some even betrayed them in wars. And humanity had always forgiven, or at least pretended to. But what if silence was their revenge? What if leaving was the sharpest blade of all? The High Speaker leaned heavily on his staff. For the first time in centuries, his voice faltered. If they are gone, then the council is weaker. Enemies will see it. The Trog may rise again. The Oryx may attack. The humans were our shield as much as they were our burden. And it was true. Humanity had been both trouble and salvation. They argued, they rebelled, they broke rules. But when the galaxy needed saving, it was always human fleets at the front. Always human soldiers in the fire. Always human captains, risking everything. Now there was only silence. Balok's claws tapped the table, slow and sharp. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of something waiting to be heard. The words spread through the chamber like smoke. Delegates glanced at each other with unease. What if the humans had not left forever? What if they were only waiting? And when they returned, what judgment would they bring? The silence of humanity was louder than any war drum, and every race in the council could hear it echoing deep in their bones. The council's fear. The council chamber did not sleep that night. Lights burned in the vast spire above Orion, and delegates whispered in panic behind closed doors. Rumors spread faster than ships could fly. Humanity was gone, but their shadow still hung over the galaxy like a storm waiting at the horizon. Counselor Balok sat in his chamber quarters, staring at the holoscreen. Reports kept arriving from every sector. Human colonies. Empty. Human. Fleets. Vanished. Yet in every report the same detail chilled him. There were no signs of struggle, no destroyed ships, no abandoned weapons, no bodies. It was as though billions of humans had simply stood up one day and walked away together. The council called an emergency assembly. All 317 member races were present. The High Speaker's voice trembled as he opened the floor. We face a crisis without precedent, he said. Humanity, one of our most powerful members, has vanished. They left no explanation except that we must answer for our deeds. What does it mean? What deeds? And where are they now? No one answered. Then came the voices of anger. They betrayed us, shouted the Oryx delegate, a reptilian creature with scales like knives. They left us weak, exposed to enemies. This is desertion, nothing more. The Zilorian diplomat's wings flared in anger. Do not be blind. If humans left, it was for a reason. Perhaps they saw rot in this council, corruption, arrogance. Perhaps they chose to leave us to face our own lies. The chamber roared with argument. Old wounds surfaced. Every race had a story, some of betrayal by humans, some of betrayal to humans. The air grew thick with blame, but then a courier entered the chamber. He was pale, trembling, his claws clutching a datapad. A message, he whispered. The screen lit up with an image. A human city, one of their great colonies on the edge of the Perseus Arm. Its streets were silent, its towers still standing, lights burning, but no people walked there. Every home was open, every door unsealed, every screen displaying the same single sentence. We remember. The chamber froze. Delegates stared at the image, their throats dry. The words repeated in every language, scrawled on walls, etched into metal, even broadcast on open frequencies. We remember. What do they remember? A Zerathi delegate asked, her crystalline body trembling with faint light. No one answered, but they all knew. Every race had done something to humans that they hoped would be forgotten. Wars, betrayals, lies at negotiation, tables, treaties broken in shadows. The council had always assumed humans moved on quickly, that their passion made them forget as fast as they forgave. But perhaps humans never forgot. Perhaps they remembered everything. Fear spread like wildfire. Second report arrived, this time from the edges of the Varian sector. A human warship left behind in orbit around a dead moon, suddenly activated on its own. Its engines burned for the first time in decades. It broadcast no coordinates, no warnings, only a single signal, 3 words. We are watching. The council chamber fell into chaos again. Voices screamed, wings flapped, scales rattled against stone. They are threatening us. No, they are judging us. This is human madness. But deep down, every delegate knew it was more than madness. It was human intention. The High Speaker tried to calm the chamber. His voice shook. We cannot assume they mean war. Perhaps they are testing us. Perhaps they left us alone so that we may prove our worth without them. But Velok stood. His tall insect form loomed over the table. His mandibles clicked as his voice cut through the noise. No, he said. Humans never do anything without meaning. If they say we must answer for our deeds, then they are calling us to judgment. They will not need warships to punish us. Their silence is punishment enough. The chamber grew quiet again. For the first time, the counselors looked not outward to their enemies, but inward, toward themselves. Because the truth was clear. The council had relied on humans too long. It was always human ships sent first to danger. Always human scientists solving impossible problems. Always human soldiers spilling their blood. And while the council had reaped the rewards, they had also mocked and scorned humanity for being reckless, emotional, too wild for true order. Now that humanity was gone, the council was naked, weak, afraid, and every delegate wondered the same question. Would humans come back? If they did, would they return as saviors or as executioners? The silence pressed against them all. Heavy, crushing, alive. The shadow of humanity. The galaxy was never truly dark. Beacons shone along trade routes, fleets patrolled the border stars, and council stations pulsed with light. But now, strange, signals began to cut through that light. They came from places humanity once touched. In the Eridani system, a derelict human outpost had floated silent for 70 years. It was nothing but rust, drifting near a broken moon. Yet suddenly its reactors flared to life. The outpost's guns, old but still deadly, turned toward the nearest council patrol ship. No warning, no transmission. The cannons lit up with blue, fire, and the patrol vanished into dust. Then the station powered down again, silent as a tomb. The report reached the council chamber within hours. Fear tightened every throat. It cannot be random, whispered the Zirathi delegate. Her crystalline edges flickered faint light. They left those machines sleeping, waiting. Another report arrived. On a mining world once run by humans, the drills no longer cut stone. Instead, they moved on their own, carving words into the planet's surface, letters so vast they could be seen from orbit. Do not forget. The words spread like a scar across the planet's crust. On the far side of the spiral arm, a forgotten human freighter drifted in empty space. When scavengers approached, the freighter came alive. Its comms burst open, broadcasting thousands of files into the void. Files of council meetings, secret bargains, wars hidden from the public. The scavengers fled, but the files spread. Worlds that once trusted the council began to riot as truths spilled into the stars. Everywhere the council turned, shadows of humanity awakened. Counselor Velok knew it was no accident. He stood in the chamber, his insect limbs stiff with dread. This is their judgment. They are not gone. They are here, everywhere, watching, testing us. The High Speaker tried to calm the panic, but his voice cracked with fear. Machines cannot judge us. They are only tools. But even as he spoke, another message reached the chamber. This one came from a human warship. A massive battleship, long thought lost, now drifted near the borders of Krathar space. No crew walked its halls, but its engines burned like fire. It broadcast a single phrase in every known language. We left because we chose silence. But silence does not mean peace. The chamber erupted. Some delegates demanded war. Destroy these ghosts before they destroy us. Others begged for restraint. What if the humans are listening? What if this is only the beginning? The Zalorian diplomat's feathers bristled as she leaned forward. Do you not see? They have left us a mirror. Every action they prepared, every machine they awakened, it forces us to see ourselves. They are showing us our lies, our crimes, our weakness. This is not war. This is trial. Her words chilled the room, because she was right. Humanity's silence was not empty. It was filled with echoes, shadows, and reminders. They had not fired fleets against the Council. They had not sent armies. They had left behind something far more dangerous. Truth. Truth that could not be ignored. Delegates argued deep into the night. Some wanted to erase every trace of human machines, to burn colonies, destroy ships, erase the memory of Earth. Others whispered of begging forgiveness, though no one knew how to reach humanity now. And beneath all the debate was fear. Fear that humans had not vanished at all. What if they were still here, hidden, watching through their machines? What if every shadow carried their eyes, every silence carried their breath? Velok, staring into the chamber's flickering lights, felt his carapace tighten. He remembered a human captain once telling him during an uneasy alliance, "Our silence is not weakness, it's patience. You'll understand when the time comes." Now he understood the humans had not disappeared. They had become the shadow in every system, the memory in every heart. Their absence was not absence at all. It was presence sharpened into fear. The Council could not hide, not from silence, not from memory, not from humanity. And still, across the galaxy, more machines stirred, more words appeared, more truth spread. The shadow of humanity was everywhere, and it was only growing stronger. The verdict. The galaxy waited. Every system, every outpost, every colony that once felt the presence of humanity now lived under a shadow. Their machines had awakened. Their cities whispered. Their warships spoke without captains. And the message was always the same. Silence was not emptiness. Silence was judgment. The Council gathered again, but this time the chamber was quiet before the meeting began. No one shouted. No one argued. Every delegate felt it. The galaxy itself was holding its breath. The High Speaker stood at the center, his staff shaking in his hands. He had lived for 5 centuries, seen empires rise and fall, but never had he felt so powerless. "What do they want?" he whispered. His voice, once like iron, now cracked like old stone. "What is the meaning of this?" No one answered. Then, without warning, every light in the chamber died. Darkness swallowed the Council. Delegates gasped, wings rustled, claws scraped against marble floors. In the silence, only one sound came, a heartbeat. Slow, steady, human. A pale light bloomed at the center of the chamber. A hologram flickered to life. It was not a man, not a woman, but something between, an echo of humanity itself. Its face shifted, carrying traces of 1,000 different people, soldiers, scientists, children, elders. It spoke with a voice that was many voices layered together. Calm, cold, final. "You ask what we want." The delegates froze, breathless. "We want nothing. We left because we gave too much. We fought your wars. We built your fleets. We shared our fire. And in return, you mocked us, used us, betrayed us, yet we endured, because we believed the galaxy was worth saving." The voice grew heavier, sharper, but you did not change. You grew fat under our protection. You grew arrogant under our sacrifice. You turned justice into convenience, truth into lies, peace into profit. And still, you expected us to bleed for you. The hologram's eyes, shifting, human and yet more than human, swept across the chamber. "We remember. Those words struck harder than any weapon. Delegates lowered their eyes. Some trembled. Some wept. The voice continued. So we left. Not to hide. Not to surrender. But to let you face the galaxy without us. Let you taste what you have built with your own hands. If your council collapses, it will not be because of our silence. It will be because of your deeds. The chamber shook as the hologram leaned closer, its many voices now a whisper that filled every mind. But know this. We are not gone. We are watching. We are waiting. And if one day we return, it will not be as your shield. It will be as your mirror. In that mirror you will see what you truly are, and we will ask you one question. The hologram paused. Were you worth the blood we gave? The image shattered into dust. The lights returned. The chamber was silent once more. No one spoke. No one dared. The counselors sat frozen in their seats, the weight of humanity's words pressing down like a mountain. Counselor Velok finally broke the silence. His mandibles clicked softly. This is the verdict. They will not destroy us. They do not need to. They have already judged us. And now we must judge ourselves. The Zalorian diplomat lowered her wings. They are not enemies, not allies. They are something greater. They are the storm we created. And when they return, their silence will not protect us. It will end us or save us. The High Speaker could not raise his staff. His hands shook too much. He sat down slowly, his voice barely a whisper. The galaxy will never be the same. And it was true. Already worlds were breaking away from the Council, no longer trusting the Chamber's promises. Armies were preparing for war, afraid the humans might return and fire. Others prayed to the memory of Earth, treating humanity not as a people but as legends, guardians who walked into the stars to become something more. In every shadow, in every silence, the Council felt them. Humans were gone, yet more present than ever. Their silence was not defeat. It was a verdict. And the galaxy would live or die under its weight.